Mastermind principles. The purpose of the mastermind is to learn leadership, build teams, and create multiple sources of income together.
We are here to inspire and challenge each other to reach and exceed goals.
Each member is committed to their own success as well as the success of every member of the group.
We are committed to meeting in person or virtually for 1 hour every week.
Mastermind principles. We are present. There is no multitasking or distractions during the meetings.
We are collaborative. We listen without interrupting, lecturing, or judging.
We celebrate each other's successes without jealousy.
We are honest and participate by giving thoughtful feedback.
We are open and listen to different perspectives without being defensive or offering excuses. Grant?
Oh, I'm sorry. We trust fellow members enough to share fully.
We are focused, but we also think it's important to have fun during meetings.
I'll make a note of that one. That one's for Ricky.
We are real and authentic. This is a no BS zone.
We allow ourselves to become completely aligned with each other and the high forces. One mind, one soul, one love.
Noble Goldman International is a conscious, aware, and engaged global community of abundance and freedom creators.
Our mission is to create 1 million millionaires who are free from the time for money paradigm. We focus on creating multiple streams of income through masterminding, team building, and the effective utilization of the internet-based platforms.
The mastermind becomes an opportunity for self-mastery, with a self-transcendent shift from the me to the we to the us occurs. As congruence and engagement increases, the world's consciousness is then raised one meaningful and inspired relationship at a time.
Beautiful. Thank you, everyone, for setting the foundation at the call. So, great to have you back, Ricky. Unfortunately, I don't think your camera's working, so not a biggie.
Sorry about that, guys. Apologies.
That's all right. Not a problem, mate. So, let's get stuck into our chapter 11. I actually thought we were on chapter 10, but chapter 11. So, I was quite happy to see that we've only got next week, and then we close that out before we move on to the laws of the universe, the universal laws rather. So learning from adversity, we'll keep to our numbers. Ricky, you'll be number 5, and Grant, I'll move you to number 6 if you don't mind, just so we'll finish with that. Out of curiosity, who hasn't done chapter 11? Anybody? Okay, looks like everybody's done it. Cool. So if you want to start us off, Karen, in regards to 2 minutes, what you got from it, and also how you can implement whatever you've learned.
Sure. This was an awesome chapter. This chapter, well, this whole book has been great, but this chapter was really a terrific one. Many of the things that pointed out to me was temporary defeat versus failure. And a lot of times I personally end up twisting up in my mind and thinking and mistaking temporary defeat as failure. It's a problem that I had for a long time. I'm outgrowing it finally, so I'm very happy. One of my mentors, Eric Graham, he had a terrific quote a few weeks ago where he said, "There are no failures, only lessons." And I love that. When I have that on a board in front of me, in front of my desk, but it's just, well, I think that when you get busted down with adversity, it does give you, I did agree with the fact that it breaks that hypnotic rhythm, in that it gives you a fresh start and fresh eyes, fresh mind, fresh start. So, which kind of, one of the things that was brought up in that chapter was about the 1929 financial bust worldwide, and that it was in fact to break man's habits to start anew. And it's so relevant because so much of what he said it seems so parallel to today. Like now with a lot of people here in the States anyway, losing jobs, massive layoffs. And so I think more people are taking a different path rather than the corporate route, and making their life better, happier, and healthier. And I think that's the upside on everything that's happening. And there's always an upside to adversity. I mean, you know, to fix it. So, and another thing that I was amazed at is in the previous call, Martin, I told you I've been reading Joe Dispenza, and it was amazing to see how much of that information when Napoleon Hill was talking about how we compartmentalize certain behaviors, or no, the devil was actually saying it, how our minds are like the filing cabinet. And that's exactly what Joe Dispenza is saying in his book. So it's kind of like, wow, this is just really amazing. But I guess the main thing I pulled out of this chapter is to not allow adversity to stop me, to allow it to back me up, make me stop and think and rethink my plan and just work it in a different manner. So
Beautiful. Thanks for that share, Karen. Super powerful. Awesome. Fiona.
Okay. So, yeah, I love this chapter. I've got pages of notes. I actually kept stopping it to write down word for word what was being said, because I really felt it was very, very beneficial. One of the things that I've sort of struggled with in my life is the fact that I'm an overthinker. But I'm actually now thinking that I can use this to my advantage, because it means that I'm not just going to follow the crowd. I'm actually looking at all the different possibilities, and the subconscious mind being so powerful, and tapping into that infinite intelligence, which, you know, I guess he was saying that really that's God. Well, that's what I took from it anyway. But that the only person that I am responsible for, or that I can change in any way, is myself. And that the law of hypnotic rhythm, it said that it solidifies the factors which can constitute the human relationship, but it does not create the factors. So therefore, I'm the one that's accountable for breaking out of that hypnotic rhythm if it's not serving me, as, you know, getting me towards my purpose. Because as we know, the hypnotic rhythm can be beneficial as well as being negative. And one of the things that I'm finding in lockdown, like, everyone's surprised that I'm having such a lovely time, but I came in here with my eyes wide open and prepared, and I set in place things so that I make sure that I don't necessarily get up early, but I do a set thing like my exercise, and I stick to my green shake that I had at home. And, you know, so I've got, I'm making these habits while I'm in here, so that I've got structure, and then I can feel good about myself because I've stuck to that, and it's benefiting me. So yeah, not sure if that was a bit convoluted, but yeah, I'm really getting lots of benefit from this chapter.
Fantastic. Thank you, Fiona. That was amazing. And I'm glad to hear that it's funny how even on the outside, you know, when I started the call and I said, are you coping in lockdown or quarantine? And you're like, oh, working fantastic for me. So it's interesting how we perceive, we go into it, what the experience is like, and how people perceive it on the outside of what it would be like, and it's what we want to make of it. So thanks for sharing it. Powerful.
Definitely.
Tony Inman.
Yeah, that was great, Fiona. I certainly took from this the law of hypnotic rhythm and the relationship with nature. He talks about nature a fair bit in this as well, and it is that flow, and it's that vibration, and that everything has both positive and negative in it at the same time. It is just what it is. And we're the ones who are interpreting it as positive or negative, but we might be wrong. We might not, you know, with the benefit of hindsight, I'm sure we can, all of us, think of examples of things we thought were a disaster or calamity at the time. And then later on you look back and go, well, thank goodness that happened. Otherwise all this other stuff wouldn't have happened. So he talks about that. And I just picked on something as I was flicking back through the books. It's been a little while since I actually finished reading it. But there was two things actually. One was the fact that the non-drifter meets with temporary defeat and failure. If you're drifting, it'll just go past you because you're not doing anything. So you're not really even aware that you're failing, if you want to put it that way. But I love this line where he says, I said, there is a seed of an equivalent advantage in every adversity, not the full-blown flower of advantage, just the seed. So it's some form of knowledge, some idea or some plan that comes to you as a result of the setback or the failure that then can take you in a whole new direction. And that's the beauty of it is, but it's still down to you to grow that seed, to do something with it. You can't just assume, oh, well, that's failed and now I'm going to succeed. You have to do the work as well. But the law of nature is that there is both there, and you can either run with it or you can fail, and you only fail when you give up.
Yeah, fantastic. Powerful. There's so many powerful shares happening right now. It's good. It's awesome. So, like we've been saying, there's so much in this chapter. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. One of the areas that I highlighted in particular was the greatest potential benefit of any circumstance which causes one to make a fresh start is that it provides an opportunity to break the grip of hypnotic rhythm and set up the new set of thought habits. New habits offer the only way out for people who fail. Most people who escape from the negative to the positive operation of the law of hypnotic rhythm do so only because of some form of adversity which forces them to change their thought habits. The non-drifter meets with temporary defeat and failure, but their reaction to all forms of adversity is positive. That they fight instead of giving up and usually win. So I was reading this and I highlighted it because I just thought of the many situations throughout my life where I've had barriers. And I remember right the way back to, I'd have been maybe 20. I'd just come out of my time, 19, 20, and I was working for a building company, and went there to this job, and it was a very high level profile job. And the boss said to me, "This is what the outcome is going to be, the goal that the owner wants. How are you going to do it?" And I said, "Right, well, this is what I'm going to do." So, and he said, "Okay, well, this is how I do it." He says, "But you go with the way you're going to do it." And I'm like, okay. So he always empowered me. I didn't realize it at the time, but he truly empowered me. And what was interesting through that was that when I came across a challenge or a hurdle, and I'm like, how the hell do we get over this now? It was then giving me the ability to realize there are different ways to get the same result. And there's always a solution to every single hurdle, every single challenge that comes our way. So when I was reading this, I'm like, wow, I reflected back on my life that many times the hurdles have come up. And yet I've still persisted because I've been clear on what the end result, the goal is going to be. So the key there was be clear on the goal, and it will just all happen if we're taking action towards that goal, for me.
Brilliant, Martin.
Thank you, Fiona.
Well, you're not going to pat yourself on the back, are you?
Well, I might do, but off camera. Thank you. Ricky.
Well said, Fiona. Because often the coordinator and facilitator doesn't get enough congratulations. So well said, you. Yeah, this chapter I just listened at 10 o'clock to, just squeezed it in before the call, and like Fiona, took a couple of pages of notes, and really, I think like the rest of us, this chapter has got such meaning in our lives because every single one of us faces adversity, and maybe some more than others, but it's absolutely how we deal with it. So the relevance to me is, and if you look at business in particular, network marketing, there could have been probably in the last 20 years easy 1,000 times when I could have buckled under some of the comments and the pressures from close friends, relatives, business colleagues, the whole shebang, saying, what the bloody hell are you doing that stuff for? That'll never work. And you're wasting your time. And you're still doing that. Are you made any money yet? You know, all these usual comments that we keep on getting. And it would have been so easy to just say, you're right, what a bloody waste of time. I'm out of this. I'll go and get a job, you know. But it's having that belief in what it is you're doing, and not so much in what it is you're doing, but in yourself. You've got to have that unwaverable belief that you know you can do it. And you will fall on your arse. I've fallen on my arse 1,000 times, and I'll keep falling on my arse. But as was said in the chapter, the most successful people in their life have had more failures than anybody else. So it's just part of the whole thing. It's part of the journey. We have to be willing to go through all the crap. And most people are just not willing. I think it was Fiona said right at the beginning there about not following the crowd. Well, when you're in the network marketing space and on the Noble Goldman platform and things like this, we are absolutely not following the crowd, because the crowd is the 99% that are not in network marketing, they're not in Noble Goldman, they don't even know who Napoleon Hill is. So we are absolutely not following anybody. We're following our dreams and our vision, you know. So for me, yeah, it was a brilliant chapter, Martin, and very, very relevant. And you've got to keep on going. You've got to be that persistent, and believing that one day you're going to get there, and you will. You absolutely will. So, yeah, great chapter.
Great share, powerful. Thanks, Ricky. Grant.
Okay, great stuff, guys. Great stuff. Yeah. So, learning from adversity. Yeah. You know, absolutely, man. Because you know, speaking myself, when I came to Noble Goldman a couple of years ago, I had absolutely no experience in network marketing. I mean, technology was foreign to me and everything else. I'd spent Bikram yoga teacher, hot yoga teacher. I had high passion for health. And then before that, I was in the trades, doing construction, doing cement mason, doing high rises and all that. So tons of adversary, and so many times I wanted to give up. But like you were mentioning, you know, Mark and Ricky, I had a dream and a goal, and I wasn't going to give up. And of course, with all the self-development, you know, just like Einstein, I think it was Einstein, they said, oh, how do you feel about failing 1,000 times or 10,000 times before you finally quit? He said, I didn't fail that many times. It took me that many times to, you know, I forget the way he worded it, to achieve that. So, and like you were saying too, who was it, Tony, mindset. So you can take any that you call failure and twist it around and look at what's the positive, like Bob Proctor talks about. You can take any situation and look for the good in it. You know what I mean? So training the mind to find the good. And, you know, and like you were saying too, Ricky, and everybody knows who studied successful people, you read Think and Grow Rich, every single one of those had tons of adversity. And it's the other flip side of the coin. And the thing is 97% of the people or whatever aren't willing to pay that price. There's no free lunches, right? You got to pay that price. So to me, what it means is when you finally, you know, the process, when you're hitting all those bumps and you know, those breakdowns, you want to give up, and everybody's, like you said, Ricky, everybody's saying it's not going to work and this and that. When you overcome that and you become, like they talk about, what you become in the process. Yes, the money is great and all the nice stuff is great, but to actually achieve that, had gone through that, I think that's a vital point of that satisfaction, that feeling you're going to get in the process, or when, I hate to use the word when you achieve, because it's an ongoing process. But again, it's an inside feeling, the way you're going to feel that you had to go through all that in order to achieve that great feeling. Because if you just had the money, if you just won the lottery, you just got $10 million or whatever, that's only going to go so far, in my opinion. It's not going to be appreciated. But for you to have gone through all that and learned and grown, that's going to give you real satisfaction in your soul, and you can't put a price on that. So yeah, that's kind of what I got out of that there. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, awesome. Great share, Grant. Fantastic. Dropped a few little Grant bombs there, didn't he? So What about Glenn? Is Glenn available, or is it just too noisy back there, mate? Must be too noisy. So if he dives in, that's fine. So we've covered a very powerful chapter, and I'm pretty confident from memory. Chapter 12 is pretty much a wrap up of everything. I could be wrong. It's very rare I'm wrong, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I'm pretty confident it's a good wrap up by Sharon. I know she shares quite a lot of powerful information around there. One of the things that came up on yesterday's call, and I think it's really important for us to be looking at this now from an angle of Noble Goldman, and we've had these discussions in the past in regards to things moving slowly in regards to the site being improved, and that, because a lot of it takes time, and you know, I don't know coding, but I do know building websites and so on, and a lot of the things that we build, it's kind of like Lego. The pieces are already there, and you pull the blocks in, and you match them all up, and you make it look pretty, and you add the copy and so on. But because this is a unique platform, everything's coded, so it's all very bespoke, let's say. Now, what we're starting to see is more and more people stepping in who are in the coaching space and who are bringing value. And what we find is that a lot of coaches know other coaches, and they're like, hey, you know what, you folks in this area, I think this will be a great platform for you to come in. So then these people are seeing the value of putting their programs on. And in many cases, a lot of them are free memberships to get you in there. So anything that's free from an MSI angle is definitely worth creating your account. And the sooner the better. Now, you know, we had this discussion in particular with Ricky, and it was spot on that, you know, we need money to keep surviving in regards to paying the bills and the roof over our head and so on. So it's not about where our attention is outside of this or inside of it. What it is about is, as long as we're just checking in, and that's the power of the abundance game, the checking in every day, what's going on, the checking in on these calls, we're just keeping up to date. I am very invested. I had a bit of a, when Bessie passed, I went through that grieving, and my head was all over the place. But I'm heavily invested in my time and attention and energy in Noble Goldman, because I really believe in the whole model and the ethics of it. So I'm wanting to constantly learn more around it. Now, one of the things that came up was one of Lisa Bowen, who's a GoldStar member direct to me. She's now doing some work with Walter. She really vibes with Walter. She started doing some masterminds with Walter. Walter's got a program called Power versus Force in Noble Goldman. Now, it's a free membership. So what Lisa did, by doing the right thing, she went to that MSI, she clicked on the red button of express interest, which then notified me as her sponsor, Ricky, Declan, Lloyd, and I think Mark. So we all get that email in regards to the way that the system works. And I'm able to see that in this example, Mark and Lloyd were active. They had already set up their accounts, and they had put their accounts in Noble Goldman. Declan, it was saying, was pending, and Ricky was pending, and I was pending. Therefore, we have the opportunity to activate our accounts. So I reached out to Ricky and Declan and said, hey guys, Lisa wants to join this. Are you guys wanting to join it? It's free to open your account. And in this example, what had happened was Declan had gone to the MSI. So maybe if I show you, it might help for the people who are visual learners like myself. Because I definitely feel this is important for your team members as well once you start bringing them in. Otherwise, as Noble Goldman gets its legs, you could have a lot of work to do, and people be like, come on, I need to get my link, because we all know people want things yesterday. So especially when they've got a desire to move forward, they don't want barriers. So in your homepage, and just so you're clear, my membership had expired, and my credit card, I don't use that card anymore. So I'm not a GoldStar member at the moment, because Mark's going to take it out of my commissions instead of using my credit card. So at the moment, I've only got the free access account while he upgrades it. But if you come into the MSI section and we come over to level 2, where power versus forces, and you can see it's free. The same as Coinbase is free. So any of these ones that are free, Delphin World gives you 1 month free access. So it's worth at least activating the account. So as I said, Lisa contacted and it's gone through. So when I come to this one in particular, I can find out about it. But what I need to do in this moment is, one, because in my emails it says that Ricky and Declan are pending, I need to, before I do anything, is make sure that they've put in the affiliate link. So Declan, once he had registered, he came to this button underneath which says, yes, I understand power versus force coaching. When you click on that, it allows you to put in your username for the program, your official legal name, so in my case, Martin Ball, and then your affiliate link, and submit MSI activation. What that means then is, if Lisa lands on this page as it is now, and my account is active, when she clicks this button, it will take her to the Power versus Force website, but it's already got my affiliate link in it. So she's organically joining my community in this MSI. But at the moment, because Ricky, at this stage, I don't know if Ricky has by now, but if Ricky hasn't come here and put his details in regards to his activation, then based on the golden rule of do unto others as you would have done unto you, I won't be clicking this until he has, unless Ricky says he's not interested in joining, which then means I would basically be going under Declan's affiliate link. So what I would ask Declan for that link and go direct to Power versus Coaching, Power versus Force.
So Martin, could I just jump in there? Could you just show us a wee bit slower than you went through there, but can you just show us then how you actually do what you've suggested we need to do? Could you just go back to the beginning on that again?
Yeah.
Like the different links, because there were 2 or 3, obviously you had to put your name in, but there was 2 links that you said to put in, and the second one, the power versus force link, I wasn't sure where you actually get that from. So
okay, well,
just so we're all clear, otherwise we're going to listen to this and go, so what does that
let
mean?
Let me use a different MSI. So let's just say, in fact, I'll show you what you'd receive in regards to my emails, and then we know what we're dealing with. And this is actually an important part of the process, and that's why I wanted to make sure everyone's aware of it. Especially if you've got somebody like Lisa, who's super keen to get involved in any of the free MSIs, but certainly things around coaching which are resonating with her. Was MSI information request. Okay, so here we go. This is the email that you'll get from when somebody in your downline requests for information. So here Lisa's requested. So Lisa came onto this page and she pressed the express interest.
Yeah.
She then typed in, I'm doing a weekly mastermind with Walter and I'm really excited about this opportunity, so let's jump into this. So Walter is the MSI contact. It's his job to help everybody in regards to this. Now the next person is Mark. So it goes 5, 4, 3, 2, all the way down to you. Who's active? Lloyd's active, Declan is pending, and Ricky's pending. So it's actually officially Declan's job to contact Ricky and say, hey, Ricky, you need to open an account, but I need to do it first. It's Ricky's job to contact me, because this is the way it's supposed to be in regards to the sponsor is, hey Martin, I'm opening this account. You've got someone in your downline who's ready to join. So the example though is that I've contacted the boys and said, that we need to do this. So what happens then is that, I'll just get rid of this. Let's say Declan has opened his account where he's clicked on this button here, because when Declan in particular clicks on this button, he is sponsored by Lloyd, and Lloyd's active. So because Lloyd's active in this MSI, Lloyd has put his details in. So when Declan clicks this green button and goes to power versus force, he's actually going through Lloyd's link. Now, when Declan registers here, puts his details all in this section, and he goes and gets his own affiliate link, then what Declan does in this example is he comes back to this MSI, he clicks on this button underneath the red express interest, and it says, yes, I understand the power versus force coaching MSI activation process. I am now ready to submit power versus force coaching account information for review and request MSI activation. So what would happen is Declan would put, let's just say Declan D is his username for power versus force. That's his user login name. His legal name is Declan Dowling. And then his affiliate link would be maybe a power versus force / affiliate Declan Dowling. Okay, and he would get that from here. It would be in his back office of power versus force. And he would put that in there, and then he would submit MSI activation request. Now, what happens when he does that? In the Noble Goldman system, it is immediately active in the system. So Ricky can go, even though it says pending here, the reason why it's pending is because in MSIs and under activations, Lloyd is Declan's sponsor. Here it would say Declan Dowling, MSI would be power versus force, username Declan D, link, status pending. What Lloyd has to do is click activate. And the reason why it's in this section is so that Lloyd has the opportunity to check that Declan is actually in his team in this case, power versus force. So even though in this example, it says pending, I contacted Declan and Ricky, and Declan said, I've already put it in the system, but Lloyd hasn't gone and activated it yet. So you're part of your sponsor role. And the way that I would do it is I would say, in Declan's case, I would go to Lloyd and say, hey, Lloyd, I've now activated power versus force. Will you go to your pending activations and just check and confirm it for me? So that when anybody in my downline or any of the other downline express interest in that MSI, it will show me as active. Does that make sense?
So Martin, can you still activate yours if the person that's introduced you or the person that introduced them hasn't done theirs, and there's a time frame in which they can activate, or they're kind of out of the loop, as it were?
Yeah. So the moment that you put in this example, Ricky. So we'll stay with Declan. Let's imagine Declan's just gone and registered and he's got everything. The moment Declan's filled in these 3 boxes, and clicked submit, it's actually live in the system.
Yeah.
So when you come along and click this button to actually open your account, it will organically be linked to Declan. So what you would do in this example, you would contact Declan and say, hey, Declan, have you activated the power versus force MSI? Because it says you're pending.
Yeah.
So really the pending is down to the sponsor activating it. It's just like it's just a second check, because in this example, if Declan lets Lloyd know and Lloyd comes in and Declan is actually not affiliated with Lloyd, Lloyd can say, hang on guys, there's a problem in the system here. Declan's supposed to be linked to me. So it's just making sure everybody can see where people are going. and the right link is in that green button.
Yeah, I guess I was asking, like, so you man, say you want to get activated now. Can
Yeah.
you activate before I've activated?
Well, I can do, but I've, you know, based on the golden rule, that's why I reached out to you.
Yeah, but can if you did activate, and say I activated today before even Declan's activated, is that okay? I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you activated, and is there a time frame like 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, where the people that are upline from you have got the opportunity to activate? Because say they're on holiday or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And you want to activate, you don't want to wait until they come back from holiday, but you just want to get the bloody thing done. Can you do it? And it's still, and then that person above you or the person above them still has a period of time in which, you know, if they went through, like, say they've had a family funeral, the last thing they're thinking about is activating a bloody MSI, you know?
Yeah.
But next week, when they get back to normality, yeah, okay, I'll get that done, no problem. Can you do that?
Yeah. So this is really where the power of communication comes into play. So in this example of power versus force, it's Walter's coaching program. So Walter owns that, and part of the affiliate model, Walter can move people. But let's imagine we're talking about Enagic. You cannot move people in Enagic once that sale's gone through. So what would happen in that example of people pending, we would all communicate and say, hey, look, in this example, you know, and I'm not wishing this on Ricky, but Ricky's away, he's at a funeral. Obviously, he's not in the right mindset for this. We're all just going to wait at least a week, let Ricky get his head together, and we'll do what we can, and then we'll all move forward with this together.
Right.
And that's where the communication has to come in. And in a way, this is why I think it's so powerful, because it keeps that communication between us all, rather than just seeing this as a way to just potentially build multiple streams of income and not have contact with people. So I see the beauty of it in you know, for me, in regards to the whole process. But I don't know, the key here is that we should never assume that if I just went in and set up an account in Power versus Force, and then Lisa came in because I'd now done my affiliate link, that Walter would be able to then go, oh, well, I need to put Ricky above Martin and Declan above Ricky and make sure that line's right. I think it really comes down to us communicating as a group and saying, hey guys, what can we do here? And if you're like, Martin, can you go in and set me up? Or because Declan's already done it, he knows the process, he could go, Ricky, I'll go and set you up. I'll just put any old password 123, and here's the access. And that way Martin can then go through. You know, those kind of things where we can work together on it if we need to.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So it's just the reason, as I said, why I'm saying this, and I know, Tony, you had something that came up. The only reason I'm saying this is because I believe not so much the network marketing MLM opportunities, but I believe we're going to start to see more and more free, like, opportunities to open accounts. Like Positive Prime is free to open an account. You know, so that's one of the things that's actually put in the 90-day success challenge. So therefore, if people are coming in and accessing the 90-day challenge, we need to be opening accounts. So these are the things that, in my opinion, that when somebody joins as a new member, we potentially look at it and say, hey, as part of the process, go and set up your free account with this one. Go and set up your free account with this one, because you're activating that MSI ready for your downline. And if everybody's doing it, we're all ready to go when somebody pulls the plug and chooses to purchase. And especially in this MSI, in particular, Walter's been extremely kind. You don't need to buy the program to earn commissions. So he's giving $100 off for a GoldStar member straight away. And he's also paying 50% for tier 1, 10% for tier 2, and 5% for tier 3 from memory. And you don't have to be paid for that one. So if you think about it, you organically go and activate that MSI, and somebody in your downline comes along and says, wow, I really vibe with this, and they just go and buy, you're going to have money go straight into your account. And you've not even bought that MSI. Does that make sense?
This is excellent. Thanks, Martin.
You're welcome, Fiona. So, and I feel that it also helps, like in this example, Tony is a coach. And Tony and I have been discussing, and we got about halfway through a call before Tony had to run off. But I also feel it helps, in particular, Tony see, well, what are other coaches doing? And he's able to go in there and see what Walter's doing, for example. He's able to open his account for free, which is going to benefit him later on. But he goes, okay, well, I see now what Walter's doing. This is the kind of thing that I can create, you know, with my own essence. So that's the power, and we can use this kind of information that of other people putting their MSIs on to help us when we're talking to other people who have got some level of value that they can put together and monetize, that helps the community and helps us all win as a group. Does that make sense? Any questions?
So Martin, so just so I'm fresh, so if I go and set up my registration details now on that, and did you say that Declan has done it already, yeah?
Yeah, Declan said he's already put the affiliate link on that green button.
So I'm the missing link then at the minute. I've got to get it done so that you can get it done, yeah?
Yeah, so...
Okay, I'll get it done after this.
So do you need me to walk you through again to show you how to do it?
Aye.
So what you would do, Ricky, you're going to log in.
Yeah.
And then you're going to go down the left side to MSIs.
Yeah.
You're going to click on MSIs. And then you're going to go to level 2.
Level 2, yeah.
When you click on level 2, you go to power versus force. And everyone can do this, remember. You go to power versus force. Now, if everybody's going to do this, just you don't need to write this down, Ricky, but if everybody else is going to do this, what you need to do to follow the golden rule, you're going to press this red button so everyone above you is notified.
You do that first, Martin, before you create the account.
You would always do that first. That's what we want to be teaching everybody in the community. The first, this actual page, the MSI structure is going to change moving forward once Mark gets to this section. And what he's going to do is he's going to get rid of this green button.
Right.
And he's going to have express interest. But what will happen is the green button will only be there if your sponsor has activated their account. And it won't be an express interest because the person has already, the sponsor has already activated their account. If the sponsor hasn't activated their account, then express interest will be there because it's giving the sponsor and maybe their sponsor the opportunity to open their account so the lines remain the same.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So in this example, Ricky, you've come into this MSI, you've clicked on level 2, you've clicked on power versus force. And what you will do, because we know Declan's put his link in, all you'll do is click this green button, which will then take you to the Power versus Force website. You will go to members and you'll go to register. Right. And then you'll put your details in here. You'll open your free account. And I don't know what happens after this because I haven't done it yet because I'm waiting for you. But there'll be an affiliate section where you will get your own affiliate code or you'll have to enter your details to get your own affiliate code. Yeah. And then from there, you would come back to this MSI and you would click on this button here that says, yes, I understand, the little box. And then you would fill in the username you created, Ricky Smith, and then your affiliate link, and then you would submit it. And the second you submit it, you would then let me know because I'm interested to join. Hey, Martin, just done it. It's in Noble Goldman. Then I can go in and I can just basically come here and click on the green button and go and open my account. And then I can put my details in and I can let Lisa know, hey, Lisa, just done it. Go and click the green button.
Well, Martin, why don't we then, as soon as we finish this call, if you've got 5 more minutes, we'll jump on Zoom, do a screen share just to make sure I do it right, don't cock it up. And then that way you know it's done. Yeah?
Okay, cool.
Cool, that's what we'll do.
I just asked, because it seemed like there's a hell of a lot of MSIs, and as it grows, there's going to be even more.
Yeah.
So you could potentially get bombarded with requests to join all sorts of things. So if, as a coach, if you're going to design a program, you need a situation where people can join or open an account, but don't necessarily have to start it yet, because we all can't be subscribing to everything and committing to every program that's out there. Otherwise, we'd have no time to get anything done. So have I taken that right, that you can have simply opening an account doesn't commit you to having to follow through yet and join that program, because you might be already doing several other programs?
Absolutely, Tony. So I brought that point up yesterday on the call with Mark and said, you know, I'm already clear on what I'm doing and where I'm going and what I'm working on. And I don't mean this is in disempowering, because Walter was on the call. I don't mean this disempowering to Walter's power and force, but I'm already doing what I'm doing, and my time is clear on where I'm putting it. So can we join and not have to do the program straight away based on other people in our downline doing it? And that's when Walter came on and said, that's exactly why I created it the way I did, so that even if you don't buy the program because, one, you're too busy, or maybe you haven't got it financially, you can still financially benefit from your downline buying.
Yeah.
Which, you know, when you look at the power of like giving and receiving, that's an incredible gift and giving that Walter in particular has given us all there, which then sets the standard, in my opinion, for anybody who's choosing to do that and go, Walter said, I'm leveraging from you, Martin, in particular, bringing in Lisa and anybody else you bring in. So for me to give you that, for you giving me access to these people is a gift, because it's not any more energy that I have to give away. You're bringing the people to me. So I'm just rewarding you whether you can or you can't. So that's a powerful way, especially from a coaching angle. And as I've always said, the Noble Goldman in every way, shape and form is a tool to leverage. Whether you're a user of the platform, a member, or whether you actually have an MSI on there, you are leveraging all of the content and the members and the power of the community to help us all win and succeed.
Well said, Martin. I think also the way that Walter set that up, and everybody should maybe follow suit, is that it gives, you know, if you've never been on Walter's or Tony's or Russ's or Leslie's program, it gives you a few weeks to jump on it, find out what it's all about, find out if you resonate with that particular coach, because the content might be great, but for whatever reason, just the whole way it's communicated for you might just not fit for you, but at least it gives you the opportunity to check it out, you know, so that makes total sense, yeah.
And we all know, well, okay, let me ask this question. What's the number one power of any, or the number one asset of any company?
People.
The database.
Yeah.
So when you open a free account, what do you have to give?
Email address.
Your details. So it's only a matter of time. And the reason why we choose to invest is because there's some level of value for us, whether that be in a level of coaching or monetary or whatever it will be. So in this example, via Walter giving free access, he is getting every single member who's come through those lines to put in their details. And now he has the ability to maybe send them an email or invite them to a free call or webinar he's doing or whatever it is, because they're in his database. And it's only a matter of time before somebody chooses to buy. I know, like a lady I met 5 years ago and did a water trial for, she reached out to me and said, now's the time to buy. So you never know when, and her buying in this moment right now is literally the difference between a couple of $100 back then to a couple of grand now. Like, it's a huge difference based on where I'm at in the company. And I know that there's, you know, for instance, like with Tony, he'll have no doubt a free part, a free maybe program to do, a low level entry, a higher level, and you can build up like that to succeed. So I might not be interested in the lower level, because what Tony's talking about, I've done the work and I've actioned it, more importantly. But I'm like, well, I'm ready for the next stage of what Tony's offering. And all of a sudden, me being in Tony's database because somebody in my downline has wanted to be a part of Tony's, straight away I'm like, that resonates with me. It's now the right time, Tony, to work with you closer. I'm going right for the elite package, whatever it is. And he wins from my downline, from the work I've done, leveraging his opportunity. But remember, he has to show up through this. He can't be, okay, well, I'll just let Martin just bring everybody to the table. He has to show up and bring some level of value. And by him showing up on the calls, people, the amount of people that say, and we all add value. This isn't just about Tony. We all add value. We're just using Tony as the example as the coach. People have said, I've grown so much just listening to Tony. The value Tony adds. Wow. Well, that in itself is organically going to create people who are hearing it and going, I like what this guy's saying. I'm going to subscribe. I want to be open a free account. I want to be around him more. That's the power. And that's where the leverage creates, because of the value.
Russ showed that, didn't he, when he set up his program, and then lots of people joined it because they liked what Russ had been saying and related to him and so on.
100%. And the power of that was, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ricky, Russ hasn't got any GoldStar members yet.
No, he hasn't, not to my knowledge, no.
So we're, and basically, like, there's it's not that Russ is cheating the system. If what Mark looks at is this person bringing value? Is this person showing up in the community? And what is the sponsor doing? Because the sponsor has a level of influence as well in the system. But Russ has been showing up and adding huge amounts of value in time. So when he jumped on a call and he shared around, I think his was the untraining or something like that he shared in the community, everyone really saw the power of it, especially network marketers, and they were like, I'll buy that program. So when Russ offered it and offered it at a discount, I can't remember, people like, I'm in. And what Russ is doing, not from a place of manipulation, just from a place of who he is, he's giving incredible amounts of value, which is building incredible amount of trust. And therefore, people will naturally go, you need to listen to this guy. You need to join the community and leverage this training and so on. That's how it builds, and we succeed. Well,
Martin,
sorry, yeah.
I'm doing Russ's untraining. I was one that just jumped straight in. But so what you're saying is really he should have had his like 12 gold stars and then had his untraining put in as a thing, and other people would then have benefited from that as well. Is that?
No, there's some levels to hit. Let's just say call them levels, but to qualify your MSI in the system. So, for instance, what Mark said was, in the beginning, you just had to be a gold star and you could put your MSI on the system. But what ended up happening was, the whole focus of this is that people who join are bringing in value, they're contributing, they are giving continuously, and it's not about what they can take. But a lot of people who came in and joined as a gold star were like, oh, it's only $200 to then sell my program or put my MLM company in there. And then they book it off and they weren't doing anything and they weren't supporting and they weren't growing, because the takers, they're only concerned about themselves. So what Mark said was, I am going to create a qualifying process. And that qualifying process is 12 gold stars. So once you achieve 12 gold stars, you can then offer your MSI to us for us to evaluate. And if we see the value of it, and not just that you've brought 12 gold stars in, because to be fair, $200 is peanuts to somebody who is entrepreneurial or in personal growth. What are you adding value in as well? What are you bringing to the table? And then what we'll do is we'll put that MSI so that you can leverage all the members as well as help the members, but you're going to be the person who contributes and is running regular training, who is answering when there's an expression of interest through the system. You're the person who has to help that person get started. It's your job. You being in there is a benefit to you because it's going to help your business grow. So in this example, Fiona, Russ didn't get 12 gold stars, but what Mark saw was a brilliant opportunity to add more value into Noble Goldman to help the members. And because Ricky's been so active, and I think Ricky's probably achieved 12 gold stars, or certainly close if not, Mark's gone, this MSI can go in there. So he's gifted it the same way as Positive Prime. You know, Kim Serafini isn't doing anything, but who is Paddy. Paddy's showing up and doing the work. So, and Positive Prime is of great value to the members. And I also think that when we step out of the rules or the levels that we got there to be achieved, when we look at Mark's vision, there has to be additional value in the system to attract more people to help us share the value to people on the outside to come in. So by having these people who are bringing certain things into the community and into the software, it helps us share more value. It helps us grow. People on the outside see that growth and they're like, what are you doing? I want to be a part of that. And it's an easy thing to say, come on in and have a look at this. So even though, I mean, when I heard the rule was 12 gold stars, to me, that's a target. And I respected that. And when they said about putting an Agicom on there, I've said, it isn't going on there till I've got 12 gold stars. Like that was the rule that was set. So I'm abiding by that because that was what was set. And it also encouraged me to get out there and do the work, which challenged me. And because of that, I've grown, because I think there's 14 gold stars now. And I've not even got going yet. But the people who have brought in have been of value, those who are choosing to come in and contribute. And as we know, and if you don't, you're going to know in a moment, that the Noble Goldman system, from a point of monetizing, which has been a discussion we've had over the last few weeks, only works when we are duplicating our 12 gold stars. Because that's when you truly get the MSI activation. Because who the hell is going to go and join an MSI company in particular, where it's maybe $200 a month to be earning commissions from your downline when you don't have a downline in Noble Goldman, because no members are in there. You need the members coming in so that, let's say 50 levels deep is the example I use. She's not direct to you, she's 50 levels deep. Sarah clicks on the express interest to join Organo Gold. Everyone's notified above. I go, hey, Ricky, are you joining Organo Gold? Because Sarah's 50 levels deep. We're just about to have potentially 50 people. You're about to have 50 people in your Organo Gold team. Now he's going to organically go, no pun intended, organically go, yes, and activate the account. And therefore, I'm going to activate mine because I know I've got 49 people who are just going to join. So now I've got a business model. So I don't mind paying, and I don't know if there's a membership, but I don't mind paying $50 or whatever, or $100 for the membership, knowing that everybody else is going to buy, and I'm going to earn maybe, if it costs me $100, maybe I'm going to earn $300. I'm winning in that MSI from Sarah, but it had to start with me bringing people in. But if I don't have people in my team, there's no point me activating that MSI unless I just want the coffee or the tea or whatever it is, the hot chocolate in Organo Gold for myself as a consumer. And that's where we start looking at the MSIs and going, there's no point looking at monetizing Noble Goldman from the MSI section, even cash flow, because the way it works is based on your team members leveraging it. So our focus is get in there, activate the free ones, but certainly get in there and start looking at who can we connect with to bring more people into the system to leverage the value. Because the only time we monetize this is based on team members. Does that make sense, or is that confusing?
That makes sense.
I felt like I was on a big roll there.
No, it makes total sense, Mark, and you're bang on right. And as I think we've discussed before, and most of us, in fact, all of us have been on a huge number of these calls now, so we clearly see the value. So if we see the value, why are we not sharing it? If you see the value in something, why wouldn't you share it, you know? And even if even if you bring in one GoldStar a month, after 12 months, you've got your 12 GoldStars, you know?
Yeah.
After 3 years, you've got, I don't know how many GoldStars it is, but that's Mark's model into cash flow. You know, you get your 12 GoldStars, and most, if not all, those GoldStars will follow you into cash flow. And like you've just shown, you've got 14 or whatever, and potentially one hell of a lot more on your front line. And you'll teach those folks how to go and get their 12, which means you're going to have a massive group on your second line. And as and when cash flow does go live, forget all the other MSIs when it goes live, and the content that it's going to have in it when it is ready to go live, all of these people, most likely, I would think, will follow on. But again, you're right, they have to have the 12 GoldStars first, because the 12 GoldStars, which is $1,200, no, it's not, it's $1,000 a commission in a year, that will quite basically cover your first year's cash flow anyway. So you'll never have to pay for cash flow. If people are thinking, well, wait a minute, that cash flow thing is $100 a month. You've already got it in the bank.
Yeah.
And it'll come off your commissions that are sitting there already, as you've just said about your renewal for your NG GoldStar thing. So it's a total no-brainer. But yeah, we've got to get the 12 first. And bear in mind, guys, you don't have to get 12 personal. You might get 6 personal, and if those 6 get 1 personal, there's your 12. Because the first 2 that those 6 get go back up to you. So if they got 2 each, you now got 18. Boom, job done.
Good point, Ricky. Thanks for bringing that up. So I was thinking, yeah, 12, if you do one a month, it's going to take you a year before you can start doing anything. But it's not necessarily.
I think you're right, Tony. If you do, I mean, I can't remember. I haven't sponsored that many people, to be honest, in the Noble Goldman, but I think in the first 4 weeks, I'm pretty sure if I look back, it was 4. It was Russ, Patty, Martin, I think, and who was I can't remember who the 4th one was, but no, it wasn't Kirsty. No, Martin sponsored Kirsty. But Martin hadn't embraced it until 4 months ago. And in the last 3-4 months has been totally all over it. Russ was the same. Russ was busy doing Success by Design out with Noble Goldman, and I kept that. Russ, come on, Russ, this is a phenomenal platform, just as it is probably, and I don't know your program, Tony, but I believed it to be a phenomenal program for Russ's, platform for Russ's program. But it took several months of me, because I've got a good relationship with Russ, saying, Russ, come on, this is the place to be, And it's only in the last 3 months, really, that Russ said, okay, I'm listening, let's engage with Mark and have conversations. Then he met Martin, then he met Declan and Lloyd, and the whole thing just came together. And I think if you ask Russ now, well, you see that he's not on today, but he participates in most, but I think he now understands that this is a phenomenal platform for his program and for everybody, and so it's, if we put our minds to it, quite honestly, if we give it a wee bit of focus, like anything else, if you give it a wee bit of focus, you can go out there and get 6 good GoldStar members probably in a few weeks, if not sooner, and that's it, it's done. And encourage those folks to do the same thing, and your team's off and running. So
yeah, absolutely, great shares. Is there anything anybody wants to touch on before we run off or walk off? Okay, well, I hope that's been of value. As I said, we're still in the early stages with NG, and as I discuss it and explain it, it's 3 rooms, and we're still in room 1 in regards to masterminding and connection and building those relationships. So let's make the most of that in the time we've got. We really are speaking to people who are visionaries, but we're also giving them the opportunity, like Tony. In this example, Tony hasn't got his programs online yet. So it's giving Tony the ability to come in and see it and go, right, now I can see what I can create. and how I can plug that into the system and leverage a community of people who are already qualified for my material. That's the power of it. So you look at that and go, well, who do I know that's like that in the, maybe in the coaching space? Who do I know that's like that who values personal development? Who do I know can bring something and contribute? And that's where I'm at right now. I want to find out where people who I'm connected to are at. What value do you bring to Noble Goldman? And you said this a while ago, Ricky. I knew that Martin was going to get benefit and value from Noble Goldman, but I also knew he was going to add it. And I'm receiving it and I'm giving it, but I'm receiving more because I'm giving so much. But it just resonates with me. So that's something to think about as well. It's a great opportunity for us to get out there and help people see the vision of what we've got.
That was great, Martin. That's really helped put things in perspective a lot for me there this morning. It's you know, it's the realization of how you can leverage it, and that, because I was sort of thinking, oh, I can't join all these things, I haven't got done up enough hours in the day, but if you can just join it and then pick and choose the ones you are then ready to do when you're ready to do them.
Yeah.
And then when you're designing things, make sure you've got that free level in there, and then your tiered structure that enables you to pass on the commissions to people. It's a fantastic way of leveraging your services or your products, whatever you're offering.
Yeah. And as Mark said, the whole idea of the way that the pay structure is in regards to memberships is to fund the next thing. So your 12 gold stars at least almost fund cash flow based on the $100 back. Because if you think 12 months at $100, 12 gold stars is $1,200 back in commission. So that's now funded cash flow. When your team are invested in cash flow, that money that's coming in every month is then funding the MSIs. And the MSI memberships, where you might have to pay, where we look at it straight away and go, well, that's another thing I have to pay for, another thing. But if we're constantly introducing people who are then seeing the value in this and investing in it, it's constantly rewarding you to help you fund all those other additional streams of income. And all we've got to find is people who are willing to follow the system. And when we're following the system, it all works. Fiona, did you want to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. I just thought you put your finger up. So I know we've gone a bit over time, and I do apologize for that. But I'm glad that we've got some clarity and understanding around that. So have a look at those free MSIs that are in the system, and maybe hit that express interest button, and then get your account set up. If it's not going to cost you, it's a win-win to already be set up ready for your team. It's what Les Brown said. It's better to be ready for an opportunity and it never arrived than to not be ready and it arrived. So there's a great way to live our lives.
Great training, Martin. Thanks for that, buddy.
You're welcome. Thanks for everybody who's been involved, and the kind comments as well. I really appreciate it, because we often don't realize just how far we've come and what we do. So I really appreciate you acknowledging that, guys. So enjoy your day. I'll upload the recording into the group, and yeah, see you all soon.
Thank
In
you,
a few
everyone.
minutes, Martin, if that's okay.
All right, yeah, I'll stay on, Ricky. Yep.
Are we staying on or what?
I'll send you a new link.
Okay, cheers.
All right.
Thanks. See you guys.
Bye.